I drove away from my sister Eleanor's nursing home on the afternoon of June 14th, 2008. I pulled into the parking lot of a coffee shop 2 miles down the road. I sat in my car for 40 minutes, and I made a list of 5 things on the back of a receipt. That receipt is in a frame on the wall above my kitchen table. I'm 87 years old. I have done all 5 of those things every day for the last 17 years. Eleanor was 3 years older than me. She had been moved that morning from her own home, where she had lived for 51 years, into a small room with a window that looked out onto a service driveway. I had helped her daughter pack the boxes. I had helped her daughter carry them up the elevator. I had hugged Eleanor in her new chair beside her new bed, and Eleanor had whispered to me, "Don't let this happen to you." I want to tell you what was on the back of that receipt, because I want to be very clear that none of these 5 things are what people will tell you. People will tell you to eat well. People will tell you to exercise. People will tell you to take your vitamins and see your doctor. Those things are not on this list. Those things are necessary, but they are not sufficient. And I had watched Eleanor do every single one of them faithfully for 30 years before she went into that room. What I wrote on the back of that receipt was different. It was 5 things I had observed in 24 hours of watching Eleanor's life close around her that she had not been doing. It was a list of the small choices she had stopped making, one at a time, between the ages of 75 and 84, that had compounded into a woman who could not stay in her own house. Number 1, I refuse to let anyone else carry anything heavy for me. I want to start with this one because it is the one Eleanor lost first. She had been a strong woman. She had carried her own groceries, hauled her own laundry, moved her own furniture for 60 years, and then, sometime around 76, she had begun to let her son-in-law carry the bags from her car. He was a kind man. He had always offered. She had always refused. And then one Tuesday, she did not refuse because her back was hurting that day, and she thought, just this once. Just this once is the most dangerous phrase a woman over 70 can say to herself. Within 2 years, she could not have carried those bags if she had wanted to. The muscles she had stopped using had stopped existing. By the time she was 80, she could not lift a gallon of milk from her own car. I have carried every grocery bag, every laundry basket, every sack of birdseed, every box of books into this house by myself for 17 years. My grandson has offered. My neighbor has offered. The young man who delivers my prescriptions has offered. I have said no to all of them. I have said it kindly. I have meant it absolutely. Number 2, I refused to use a walker until I actually could not walk. This is the one that sounds the most stubborn. I want to explain it carefully because I am not telling you to fall and break a hip out of pride. There is a moment somewhere in your 80s when a doctor or a child will suggest that you start using a walker just to be safe. I want you to understand what that suggestion is asking your body to do. A walker is a tool that takes over the work of your balance. Your balance, like every other muscle, exists only because you use it. The day you hand the work of your balance to a metal frame is the day your balance begins, very quietly, to disappear. Within a year of using a walker most of the time, you cannot stand without one. Within 2, You cannot walk to the bathroom without one. The walker has not made you safer. It has made you very gradually the kind of person who needs a walker. Eleanor accepted hers at 79. By 82, she could not stand from a chair without it. By 84, she was in a wheelchair. I have a walker in my hall closet. My doctor gave it to me 3 years ago. I take it out twice a week when I have a long errand or the sidewalks are icy. I put it back in the closet when I come home. The other days I walk on my own 2 legs, and I balance on my own 2 feet, and I am still able to do it because I have not let the walker do it for me. Number 3, I refused to stop driving until I actually could not drive. I am going to be careful here. I am 87 years old. I do not drive at night. I do not drive in heavy rain. I do not drive on the highway. I take a vision and reflex test every year with a private driving instructor on my own initiative, and I have his most recent letter in the drawer next to me. The day I cannot pass that test, I will stop driving. Until that day, I drive. Eleanor stopped at 78. Her son had asked her to. There had been no incident. There had been no near miss. He had simply read an article about elderly drivers, and he had asked her, kindly, to consider it. She had considered it. She had agreed. Within 6 months of giving up her car, she had stopped going to her Wednesday morning art class. Within a year, she had stopped going to the grocery store. Within 2 years, she had not been outside her own block in any direction. The world for Eleanor shrank to the distance her son was willing to drive her on a Saturday afternoon, which was not very far and not very often. I have driven myself to my own doctor every visit for 38 years. I will drive myself for as long as the man with the test says I can. Number 4, I refused to move a single piece of furniture that my husband and I had chosen together. This sounds sentimental. It is not. It is the most practical thing on the list. Eleanor's daughter had begun, at some point in Eleanor's late 70s, to suggest small improvements. A new chair that would be easier to get out of, a bedroom on the first floor instead of the second, a smaller kitchen table that would be more manageable. Each suggestion was kind. Each suggestion was reasonable. Each suggestion replaced something Eleanor and her husband had chosen together with something a stranger had chosen, however thoughtfully, for her. By the time Eleanor was moved into the nursing home, she lived in a house that no longer felt like her own. She had been ready to leave it because, in some quiet way, she had already left it. I have not changed a piece of furniture in this house since my husband died in 2004. I have repaired things. I have replaced a broken lamp with the same lamp. The chair I sit in is the chair he picked out at a furniture store in 1971. The table is the table where I fed our children. This house is the house we built together. It will be the house I die in, because it will not let me forget who I am. Number 5. I refuse to be alone for any meal I did not choose to be alone for. I have saved this for last, because it is the one Eleanor lost so slowly that no one, including her, noticed it was happening. By the time she was 80, Eleanor was eating every meal alone. Not because she had no family. Her daughter lived 20 minutes away. Her son lived 2 hours away. Her grandchildren called on Sundays. But the daily rhythm of her life had become a rhythm of solitary meals, eaten standing at her kitchen counter, in front of a small television that she did not really watch. A woman who eats alone for every meal of her life loses very slowly her sense of being a person who is fed. The body learns to eat without ceremony. The mind learns that food is fuel and not communion. By the time Eleanor was moved, she had not, in years, sat down at her own dining room table and eaten a meal slowly and deliberately in the company of another human being. I have eaten Sunday lunch with my grandson and his wife for the last 13 years. I have a standing Tuesday breakfast with a friend named Gloria at a diner 3 miles from here. I have a Thursday afternoon coffee with my next-door neighbor on her back porch. I have eaten alone on the other 4 days of the week, but I have eaten at my own dining room table with a real plate and a real napkin, and I have lit a small candle on the days I felt like it. The body that is fed in company even 3 times a week is a different body. The mind that is fed in company is a different mind. 5 things on the back of a receipt. 17 years. Eleanor died in that nursing home in 2014. I held her hand the last time I saw her. She did not know who I was by then. I am 87 years old. I am sitting in my kitchen. The receipt is in the frame above my head. I have done all 5 things today already. I will do them again tomorrow. If you have a sister or a friend or a mother who is beginning to lose any of these 5 things, do not wait. Do not be polite. Tell her what you saw. Tell her what is coming. Show her this list if it helps. The day she stops carrying her own groceries is the day you have 1 year, maybe 2, to bring her back. That is what I learned in a parking lot on June 14th, 2008. I'll see you in the next one.